UFC Sao Paulo. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Main event, Jailton Almeida versus Derek Lewis. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure to share the video as well. And also note, I will be live for the entire UFC Sao Paulo fight card Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, guys. These are the official predictions. After last Sunday, I dropped the early picks since we didn't have any UFC that Saturday. So let's jump into it. First fight of the night. It's Kauê Fernandes versus Marc Diakiese. This specifically is a fight that I sat on throughout the whole off week and really pondered my pick. Last week, doing an early prediction, I leaned the side of Fernandes. But I'll tell you guys right now, I don't have a good feeling about that pick. Watching a little bit more of Fernandes throughout the week, I really think he's at an athleticism disadvantage by a fairly vast margin. I'm flipping the side of Marc Diakiese. So I'm going to pick Marc Diakiese, but I'm going to say this about this fight here. Official pick is Marc Diakiese. I'm very curious to see the weigh-ins and see how Fernandes looks. I worry about his athleticism. I worry about his physical strength. I think he has awesome kicks. I think he has solid jiu-jitsu. But ultimately, Marc Diakiese is strong as an ox. He's a pretty competent striker, and he's a freakish athlete. And I really got to lean towards his side with the physical strength. I think that we're going Diakiese. Now, I don't love the betting side of this fight that much. Actually, you know what? I kind of like how popular Fernandes is now. He was a plus 180 dog at open, and now he's sitting at just plus 111. Marc Diakiese minus 131. That's a really close line. When I was leaning it early towards Fernandes, it was at like plus 150 or more. But yeah, sitting on this throughout the week, I just did not feel good about this pick. I was having a hard time swallowing it, so I dug in a little deeper. And, that's the one benefit of having an off week where we have the early prediction show on a Sunday and then the official pick show this week is more time to process. So, official pick, I am going to go Diakiese by decision. I think he will put Fernandes on his back, and I think in the striking, he's going to be able to land strikes too. He's going to be able to land shots. He's going to be able to pressure, and I feel like the physical strength advantage is a real factor in the fight. I think he's a way better athlete. Fernandes is so unproven, regardless of him having a pretty impressive, kick knockouts and stuff like that. I don't think he's knocking out Marc Diakiese. And if we're going long, you got to favor Diakiese to finish strong. So Diakiese to win by a decision is the official prediction for this fight. Next fight on the card, Montserrat Conejo Ruiz versus Eduarda Moura. This pick is so straightforward, guys. Moura is going to run over Montserrat Conejo, and if she doesn't, she is a complete bust of a prospect, and I think at this point, release her from the UFC. This should be one-way traffic. It should not be any bit competitive of a fight. Moura is an absolute menace on the floor with a bullying grappling style, and Montserrat Conejo is a one-dimensional wrestler who has a badass neck tattoo and is definitely a strong girl with some heart, but ultimately is way outmatched in the skill department. Last fight, Montserrat Conejo got destroyed by Jacqueline Amorim on the ground, eventually got finished there, and I think that the side of Moura is live to finish her. You can look here, it was a KO TKO ground and pound. I'm feeling like Moura can lock up the submission, and I think she does it better than Amorim does it, and I feel like Moura Amorim heading into 2024 might be a future matchup of prospects. So I'm going Eduarda Moura. I think she's winning the fight by submission, and I think she kind of makes light work of Montserrat Conejo. She ran through her opponent on Contender, and I think she's going to run over Montserrat Conejo here. I don't think it's a close fight, and it's minus 500, but that's a fair line for this matchup. Plus 375 for Montserrat to win as a dog. What's under 2.5? Minus 155? I think we're going under 2.5. I think we got to finish. Moura is going to get it done. She's a women's fight that I'm confident in. I'm riding Moura with pretty strong confidence here. She's going to run over Montserrat Conejo. Next fight on the card, it's Angela Hill versus Denise Gomes. Definitely one that I sat on, especially with the off week, but I'm picking Angela Hill. I'm sticking with my dog pick here. I'm not shifting the other way. I know Denise Gomes is looking impressive, knocking out Yasmin Yaraigoy in the last one, knocking out, I believe, Bruno Brazil. I was going to say Bruno Souza. No, Bruno Brazil, 2 fights prior to that. And Bruno Brazil's a good striker too. But none of the girls that Denise Gomes had beaten have fought an Angela Hill, have been in there with a veteran who has fought literally everybody. We'll just preview the last 5. Amanda Lemos, split decision, striking fight. Amazing. Verna Jandiroba. Yeah, she's going to get control on the ground. Jandiroba is a grappling menace. Beating Lupita Godinez, who's one of the hottest prospects in the sport. Beating Emily Ducote, who's a pretty decently well-rounded fighter. And then losing to Mackenzie Dern, who's top caliber. Denise Gomes, yes, good skill set, yes, good potential. Let's not forget, less than a year ago, Loma Lukbumi was able to beat her. Now, granted, used grappling. Angela Hill has a win over Loma. Not using MMA math, but I'm saying the higher level skill set of opponents is vastly superior on the Angela Hill side. And she's an underdog? Angela Hill by decision. I think Gomes hits hard. I think Gomes has a lot of potential. But Angela Hill's a very talented striker. She's athletic. And even at 38, she still moves like a female in her prime. And I think she's going to have a, pretty good win. Pretty good win in this one. Because I'm thinking, like, Denise Gomes is also only 23. She's a baby in this game. Let's see if she proves me wrong. But I'm going dog. Plus 115 underdog. Angela Hill. I'm loving the dog side. I'm taking out the Zin. Angela Hill. Plus 115, underdog pick. I love the underdog here. I think she's beaten Denise Gomes. Minus 135 for Gomes. What do we get at open? She opened at minus 210. Where is the respect for Angela Hill's resume? Yeah, 15-13, but she's fought everyone. She's been in the UFC a very long time. Angela Hill for the win. Overkill for the W. She ain't over the hill. She's taking out the young Denise Gomes. Let's keep running up. Next fight on the card, Vitor Petrino versus Modestas Bukauskas. Vitor Petrino is one of the hot prospects right now at light heavyweight. Yes, he's my pick to win. There are some concerns about his actual skill, but nonetheless, his physicality is crazy, and I think he's improving. He punches really fucking hard. He's extremely strong, and he does have a good grappling game. Modestas Bukauskas is not very athletic, and I think the physical strength difference is crazy here. I feel like Petrino is going to be able to throw Bukauskas around, and I think he'd be live to get a knockout win too. I don't think it'd be wild if Petrino dropped Bukauskas with a big hook. I feel like, more likely though, Petrino uses that athletic specimen powerhouse build, gets Bukauskas on the floor, and beats his face in. I think Petrino looks better than last time out, and I think he wins. I'm going Petrino for a ground and pound KO. Guys, Petrino is 26 years old. At light heavyweight, that might as well be 18. Holy shit, he's got a long time to grow. Now, Bukauskas is not old at 29, but we've kind of seen what he brings to the table. He's a decent striker, but he's flat at times. Paugo win, Pedro win, but that was like Tyson Pedro's corpse, and then, he was out of the UFC for a while. Khalil destroyed his knee. I think Petrino finishes him off on the ground. Bukauskas is like UFC caliber, but he's more mid to back end light heavyweight. I think Petrino, at least he has the physical tools to move up to the upper echelon of light heavyweight. The type of specimen that he is, I don't want to compare him too much to Francis Ngannou, because look how good Francis did with Tyson Fury. But like the freak athleticism, crazy potential, I think Petrino has a bright future in MMA. And I think he's going to run over Bukauskas. I think he gets a finish, man. Last time out, he got a finish against Prachnio, who's okay. And then Turkali won by decision, but he was still developing. That was his debut. He knocked out Rodolfo Bellato twice, and Bellato's in the UFC now with a big win on Contender Series, and he's good. Petrino's a minus 223 favorite, as he should be. Bukauskas a plus 188 underdog. Yeah, I think Petrino can win this thing, man. I think he puts a good pace on Bukauskas, beats him up on the ground, could hurt him on the feet too. Petrino for the win, ground and pound. Next fight on the card, it's Elizeu Zaleski versus Rinat Fakhretdinov. I was asked a question on my live stream for the Ngannou versus Fury fight about who is the most underrated guy right now that has a high potential in the sport. And I feel like it's Rinat Fakhretdinov because somehow he's like super under the radar, but he has a skill set that I think really blends well in the top 10. He mixes up striking and grappling extraordinarily well. Yes, I'm picking him over Elizeu Zaleski. Zaleski, veteran, a skilled veteran, on a win streak. Last time out, beat Bekar Nurmagomedov. Split decision. That's not really a great W at this point, especially when you're throwing somebody like Rinat Fakhretdinov. Benoit Saint-Denis, him fucking up Benoit the way that he did, granted Benoit is a lightweight, it was still badass. Zaleski can strike, but I really feel like, as well-rounded as he is, Fakhretdinov has the grappling advantage, and I like the sniper striking game. He proved a lot dropping Kevin Lee that Fakhretdinov can crack with some power on the feet, and not only that, the dude is extremely strong from the top position and has good takedowns. Zaleski's explosive and dangerous, but he is the older man here by 4 years. Now, granted, not a huge age difference. I think Fakhretdinov, the reason he's a little bit under the radar with the hype train right now is because he's 32, right? So he's towards that. He's in the prime now. So it's like now or never, keep moving up the ranks. I'm going OV, guys. The OVs have been killing everybody. I think Rinat Fakhretdinov gets it done here. I think he beats Elizeu Zaleski. I feel like a KO or decision. I'll say KO because I'm really favoring the side of violence and I want to see a violent finish. But don't be surprised if he gets it on the judges' scorecards. It's Rinat Fakhretdinov for the win. I think he continues to flow in the UFC. What's he going to go to 3-0 in the UFC? Just got a first finish last time out over Kevin Lee. I could see him hurting Zaleski and subbing him too, but I'm leaning KO. I think Fakhretdinov, though, can definitely win this fight on the judges' scorecards. And beating a pretty quality guy like Zaleski, especially if he does it impressively, like, people are going to start to take notice. Still on the prelims, still a guy that doesn't get the same rub like a Shavkat Rakhmonov, but I think he's got high potential in the sport. So we're going Rinat Fakhretdinov for the win. Rinat is a minus 325 favorite. He's a huge favorite now. Plus 275. Originally picking him, what was he? Around minus 270, minus 250 last week, minus 235 even. Now he's at minus 325. He's a winner. He's going to get it done here. He's beating Zaleski. Rinat Fakhretdinov for the W, and I'm feeling damn confident in it. Next fight on the card, it's Daniel Marcos versus Victor Hugo. I am picking Victor Hugo to win this fight. I think he's going to be able to out-grapple Daniel Marcos, and I think he matches him in the striking. But something I will say to you is when I did my early prediction, I picked Hugo not knowing what the betting lines even looked at, and I expected Hugo as a slight underdog. The odds that we're looking at for Hugo right now, he's a plus 206 dog. He's a huge underdog. The dude is extremely well-rounded. His grappling, the way he chains things together is nasty. He's freakishly athletic, and he can kickbox too. Daniel Marcos is a good calculated kickboxer who fights at a nice pace, especially from the mid and long ranges. But Victor Hugo is going to close that gap. Now, his nickname is Striker, but he can do it all. He can strike and grapple, and I favor him in this fight using his grappling. I think he can put Daniel Marcos on the back foot, control him against the cage, take him down, and I think he's live to get a finish in this fight. I think he is live to get a finish by submission. Officially, I'm going to go Victor Hugo by sub. Now, he does have 8 wins by KO, 9 wins by sub. The dude can win fights by a multitude of methods. He's a dangerous guy everywhere that fights take place. I like his clinch work and pressure a lot, and if he's going to give Marcos trouble with that style, a lot of people feel like Marcos lost to Davy Grant. That was his last fight, split decision. He beat Simon Oliveira, Brandon Lewis on Contender, but before that, you know, it's years ago and he's fighting no names. We have not seen Daniel Marcos against anybody as of recent with the grappling caliber that Victor Hugo brings to the table. I don't think he's going to fare exceptionally well with Victor Hugo mixing and grappling. Big underdog, my underdog pick. I'm going with Victor Hugo as a dog to get it done, and I'm calling it submission win. He's coming off a nice win on Contender Series, got it done not even a month ago, and then he jumps in here to fight Marcos on short notice. I think he's more than ready, and I think he's a hard stylistic matchup for Marcos. So I'm going with Victor Hugo for the W by submission. Big underdog pick in that fight. Next fight on the card, it is our featured prelim of the night. We have Elves Brener versus Esteban Ribovics. Guys, I'm picking Elves Brener. Now, could I be slightly swayed by his win over Garam Kutateladze? Maybe. But the dude has unbreakable will. He's a shoot the box Diego Lima guy. And, you know, for the most part, you got to respect the fuck out of everybody from that gym because we got a lot of killers over there. And I think that he has really good grappling pressure alongside of a consistent striking attack and durability. Now, both guys are pretty scrappy on the feet. I'd say Ribovics does have better flurries of punches and maybe a bit better with his movement. But ultimately, I see Brener in his face and I see Brener threatening Esteban Ribovics with grappling. And that to me leads to more success in the stand-up and obviously success in grappling position. So I am picking Elves Brener to win. I think he can get a win by decision. Esteban Ribovics got a nice W over Kemuela Kirk last time, but let's not forget that he had his back taken and was dominated in the first round. And then Loik Rajabov was able to beat him in a close fight in his debut. I think Elves Brener wins this fight, man. Beating Garam Kutateladze is a huge W. And I think moving forward at 26, Brenner's got a lot of, more big fights in his future. I think he's got high potential. Not that Ribovics doesn't, but I'm riding with the side of Brener to get it done. Looking at the odds for it, Brenner's a minus 150 favorite. I like him at minus 150. Ribovics a plus 130 dog. I'm going with the side of Elves Brener. I'm picking him to win by a decision. Close fight, competitive fight. I can see the argument on the other side because Ribovics does string punches and kicks together pretty well, and I like the flurries. But I think Brenner's going to be in his face and threatening with the grappling, and he's going to succeed. I'm going Brener on the judges' scorecards. Let's keep running up, and let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Let me take a sip of water before I break this thing down. Ismael Bonfim versus Vinc Pichel. I'm picking Bonfim, and I think he's going to knock Pichel out. Now, I think Pichel is a pretty tough OG. He's nearly 41 years of age. He's risky to, sit in there and bang with against some guys. Granted, not like huge power, but the dude's competent in the stand-up. Bonfim is so much more athletic and explosive. Younger guy, more powerful guy, more dangerous guy. And I think the guy that's going to lay him out. I think I'm going Bonfim, and I'm going to say he gets the emphatic knockout. I think that you can see Pichel sitting in there trying to throw some looping shots, trying to stay in Bonfim's face and get caught with something big, man. You can't doubt Bonfim with any of his tools. His hands are heavy. His knees are dangerous. His kicking game is solid. He's very competent. And I don't think Pichel's going to be taking him down and bullying him like Benoit Saint-Denis was able to do. I feel like Bonfim is going to be comfortable in the stand-up against someone who's slower than him, and he's going to knock him out. Yeah, Bonfim is the pick to start off the main card for sure. Minus 465 for Bonfim. That line sucks. Plus 365 for Pichel. I mean, I don't think Pichel is a great underdog pick if you guys are looking to attack the dog side. He's nearly 41. Like, he's a scrappy dude for sure. But if Bonfim has any long stay UFC potential, he should win this fight. And I think it should be rather impressive. So I'm going Bonfim to get the win. And he's going to get the knockout. It's interesting, right? Bonfim is 27 with more pro fights than Pichel. Obviously, Pichel has dealt with injuries and layoffs of whatnot. But Bonfim should knock him out. We're going Bonfim by KO to start this main card off. Little bit of a banger early, and I think he gets a sick knockout. He slept Terrence McKinney. That's a huge W to have, and I think he can knock out Vinc Pichel. Next fight, Rodolfo Vieira, Arman Petrosyan. I'm picking Arman Petrosyan. I think he can stop Rodolfo Vieira's grappling onslaught for the most part. Vieira is very good with his jiu-jitsu. He's got improved stand-up, but he's definitely no striker. Petrosyan is an excellent kickboxer who manages distance really well and is calculated from the outside on top of having pretty quality takedown defense. I think he can hurt Vieira and KO him. Now, I know Petrosyan's getting some decisions, but against rather up-and-coming prospects, but IO controlled him on the ground, but Borralho's a monster. I still think he's due for a UFC KO win, and I think Vieira's the guy he sleeps. Vieira last time had a back and forth with Cody Brundage, and that win has aged horribly because Brundage has become a complete UFC washout and done terrible as of recent. And I think that Arman Petrosyan's going to sleep Rodolfo Vieira. I think he finds the kill shot on the feet, and he does get a KO win here. Obviously, going to have to deal with some grappling pressure, but I think that his distance management will be on point, and I trust in the takedown defense. I'm going Petrosyan for a knockout. Minus 110 to minus 110. We have an even line for this fight. Petrosyan opened up as a slight dog, but it's been pretty much even throughout the whole thing. Even Stevens line, competitive fight, but Petrosyan with the clearest of striking advantages. And Vieira, though he has good jiu-jitsu, I don't think it's going to be easy to get control of an arm in Petrosyan. So I'm going win for Petrosyan, outstriking Vieira, defending grappling, and knocking him out. We're going Petrosyan for a KO. Next fight on the card, it's Caio Borralho versus Abus Magomedov. Listen, guys. The OV train is back. I'm picking Abus Magomedov, and I have seen the comments. I have seen people saying, no way, no how Abus gasses. He's a bum. This, and this, and that. At the end of the day, Abus Magomedov 2 fights ago was a highly regarded prospect that came into the UFC with a sick front kick knockout of Dustin Stutzfus and seemed to be on the fast track because in his second UFC fight, they gave him Sean Strickland. Let's not forget he won the first round against Sean Strickland. Let's not forget Abus Magomedov is a competent striker and he's a Dagestani. The OV at the end. So you think he's just going to get ran over by Borralho in the grappling? He's got no shot to stop takedowns? I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit. I think Abus Magomedov in the stand-up has an advantage. I think that his gas tank is going to look better. I don't see him having that gas out like he did against, the always dangerous and current world champion, Sean Strickland. I don't see that here. I think that in this matchup, Abus Magomedov is going to strike well with Caio Borralho. Now, Borralho's not a bad striker. He's got like a karate striking style, and he mixes up the stances pretty nicely. But I really feel as though it's not going to be easy to get a hold of Abus Magomedov. Getting him to the ground will be difficult, man. I think that Magomedov will move well in this fight. I think it's competitive. Method of victory, holy shit. I think I'm going to go Magomedov by a decision, but there's a chance that he catches Caio Borralho with a high kick. I could see a head kick knockout for some reason in this fight. Borralho's going to be looking to grapple and press because he's going to be dealing with a guy that's dangerous in the stand-up. That's going to be giving him hell in the striking department. I still think Magomedov's a contender. I think that he is on the track to be top 10. Saying contender, I'm saying he's definitely challenging for the belt. Maybe I won't push it that far. But I don't think he's a UFC washout. I don't think he's a bum. Because if Magomedov loses this fight, then the hopes of him ever being towards the upper echelon of the weight class officially done with. But just 2 fights ago, rather 1 fight ago even, a lot of people were picking him over Sean Strickland. Not me. I did think that Sean would be dangerous, right? I'm going to say the side of Abus Magomedov is able to beat Caio Borralho in a competitive fight and get it done. I'm saying he gets it done. Odds for the fight, plus 208 dog, Magomedov. Minus 243 for Borralho as the favorite. I'm going underdog. I'm going the plus 200 side. I'm going with the OV. OV for the victory is my mentality once again. And in this fight here, I think that Abus Magomedov can get it done. We're picking him over Caio Borralho. Next fight, featured bout, heavyweights. Rodrigo Nascimento versus Don'Tale Mayes 2. The rematch that every UFC fan has been begging for the past 3 years. No one has not only thought about their first fight, but probably even considered seeing them facing off again. And now we have it here, and I'm going to break it down. I'll say the same thing happens. Like, Don'Tale Mayes has not shown me crazy improvement. Sure, he knocked out Andrei Arlovski. That was pretty good. I mean, that's nice. But Rodrigo Nascimento is a big pressuring grappler. And Don'Tale Mayes, though he knocked out Andrei Arlovski, I feel like he's not the craziest one-punch knockout artist. He just slept an old Arlovski that's chin might be completely gone at this point. Nascimento, on the other side, is not overly impressive. I mean, he's coming off of split decision. But nonetheless, I think he can put pressure on Don'Tale Mayes, take him to the ground, and make it look like the first fight. I think he might win by sub. I'm picking Nascimento, but I'm not recommending the bet inside. I don't think Don'Tale Mayes is an underdog that I'd want to back, and Nascimento is not a favorite that I want to back. I kind of feel like both of these guys would be on my duds of betting list. Let's look here. Don'Tale Mayes to win as an underdog, plus 150. Nascimento, minus 175. Under 2.5, plus 115. Probably going over 1.5 at minus 200. I don't even understand this rebooking. I don't get it. Don'Tale Mayes, I mean, the Hamdi Abdullah Wahab fight ended up being a no contest. He was cracking in that fight and it was fairly competitive. but he still did lose the official decision. Granted, his opponent popped for the Ruiz. Nascimento with okay stand-up, decent grappling pressure. I think he's going to win the fight, and I'll say it looks similar to the first time. I'm going to say we're looking at a potential rinse repeat. I'll say sub, but decision's possible. I ain't touching the bet side. Give me Nascimento for the win. I'll pick him. Let's get to the co-main event. This is where things heat up. Gabriel Bonfim versus Nicolas Dalby is an awesome fight. I'm picking Gabriel Bonfim. I think he's going to run over Nicolas Dalby. I feel as though Bonfim is a little bit overly wide in the betting lines, especially how historically tough Nicolas Dalby is. I mean, Dalby's a strong dude. Dalby's a guy that can clinch with you and, hard to take control of. He can kickbox, but, he never looks impressive. That's not how Dalby looks. He's just not an impressive-looking fighter. But he wins a lot of fights. He's 22-4-1. And he's got a no-contest loss to Jesse Ronson, which he was finished in, subbed. I think that Gabriel Bonfim is live to submit Dalby. I think he can outstrike him, and I definitely think he has the grappling advantage. Right now, Bonfim is looking like Brazil's hope for another welterweight contender. Munir Lazez, quick finish. Trevin Giles, quick finish. And Trevin Giles is a competent grappler. I think it's going to be W for Gabriel Bonfim by submission in the first round. I like his striking, but his grappling is honestly better than his stand-up. But he just, he gets the respect of being a solid striker because he's competent there. But on the floor, the dude's got strangles, man. And I think he can strangle Nicolas Dalby. I'm picking Bonfim to win by sub. Now, minus 600, minus 500. The lines suck. Dalby, plus 450. What am I looking at? Under 2.5? Minus 220 for an under 2.5. I do think Bonfim's going to sub him. This is going to be an interesting test for Bonfim, though, because Dalby is just, strong as an absolute ox. And the odds suck, though. The odds are wrong for this fight. It's, almost disrespectful. Bonfim can be a 3-1 favorite against Nicolas Dalby, but 6-1 favorite? The fuck are we talking about here? Bonfim has not fought the who's who and proved it against everyone. I really believe he's going to win the fight. But the betting lines just suggest something totally different. The betting lines here for Bonfim is as if he's fighting a guy making his UFC debut. So what is he going to be against a guy making his UFC debut if he fought him? Would he be minus 2,000? Would he have a Bo Nickel wide line? That's odd. I don't understand the betting lines. I think it's bullshit here. I guess there's a lot of confidence on Bonfim, and if you bet the dog, they're willing to pay out. They just don't think a lot of people will have the gusto to do it. Dalby's tough, and I think that he can make this more competitive than other fights that Bonfim's been in through his UFC run, but I still think he's going to be the loser at the end. So I'll pick Bonfim by sub in this fight, but the betting lines suck in this matchup. Good co-main event, though. I think Bonfim has a breakout performance and really showcases his game, and I feel as though everybody's going to be even more excited about Bonfim. This is the brother with the top-tier potential. Ismael's fun to watch. Gabriel Bonfim might be a future title challenger. Bonfim for the win. Main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Jailton Almeida is my pick to win over Derek Lewis, guys. I think that he's going to get it done by submission. I see him clinching up with Lewis, dragging him to the ground, and I think he subs him. Arm triangle's live. Rear naked choke is live. I think both of those methods of victory are something that Jailton Almeida could pull off over Derek Lewis. But I wouldn't be shocked if Jailton Almeida mounts Derek Lewis, unloads some ground and pound. Lewis has to turn to his back, and then the rear naked strangle locks in. I think Derek Lewis's power is immaculate, and I love Derek Lewis. I believed in him still, and I picked him in his last fight when he was taking on Marcos Rogerio de Lima, and Lewis, was getting slept on by everybody. He was a bit of a dog in that fight. But Jailton Almeida is a different animal. Jailton Almeida is an absolute freak of nature specimen. He's a grappling monster, and it's not like he isn't a competent striker. Now, I don't suggest for Jailton Almeida try to knock out Derek Lewis because you're playing with fire. Lewis needs just one shot, and he can shut you off. Derek Lewis can shut off a lot of people. He hits damn hard. Hardest puncher in the UFC right now, probably. Arguably. Maybe Pavlovich. But Jailton Almeida's grappling is a different level. His athleticism is to a different level. His skill set on the floor blows Derek Lewis's skill set away. Derek Lewis uses strength on the ground, not necessarily technique. And I think when you have a guy as technical and as physically strong and athletic as Jailton Almeida, you are playing with fire in there. And I think we're going to get a first-round submission for Jailton Almeida. I think it looks similar to the Sergey Spivak fight. maybe more impressive for Jailton. Maybe he drops some more hammers with the ground and pound before he subs up Derek Lewis. Jailton Almeida, I'm calling submission, and I think it's going to be first round. Love you, Derek Lewis. And you know what? Hopefully Derek Lewis throws a looping overhand, knocks him out in one of the craziest upsets we've seen in a while, but I don't think so. Honestly, with Ngannou Fury, even though Fury got the decision at the end of it, like nothing's going to compare to the shock of how good Ngannou did in that fight. So even if Derek Lewis wins by knockout, it wouldn't be as crazy as Ngannou losing a split decision that he arguably could have won over Fury. You know, just to say that. But Derek Lewis, he is capable of craziness. But I really think Jailton Almeida gets a hold of him, contains the beast, subs the beast. I'm going with Jailton Almeida to beat the Blast Beast here. Rosenstrike sub, it's like, that to me is this fight. It's the same shit. Shamil Abdurrahimov, who's a good grappler, but still beat him. Anton Turkali, no, nothing there. Parker Porter, scrub. Danilo Marquez, actually okay, mid-tier guy. Minus 450 for Jailton Almeida. Derek Lewis plus 350. What's the under 1.5 rounds? Minus 350. I think we're going under 1.5. I think it's a first round Jailton Almeida submission against the heavy knockout king, Derek Lewis, who is taking the fight on short notice. He's replacing Curtis Blades, taking on Jailton. We're going Jailton in the main event. Now, we did have one fight that got canceled as of recent, is what it is. But we lost the matchup between Lucas Alexander and David Onama, as you can see below on the screen. And, you know, that's pretty disappointing because I thought that was going to be an absolute barn burner of a fight. And hopefully they rebooked that, and I want to see it. And I was picking Onama, actually. But, hey, now I guess we don't have to worry about that pick because Alexander is a dangerous striker. But we'll find out because I think they'll rebook it eventually. Onama's injured, though. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the official UFC Sao Paulo breakdown, the updated predictions. I hope you guys liked it. Smash the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're new with the post notifications turned on. Not just on personalized. Put them on all so you don't miss a video. I got daily content. The normal schedule grind is back, and I'm very grateful. So keep your eyes peeled on the channel. Moneyline, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Tuesday, which is Halloween, I'll do a live stream Q&A. Kind of thinking around 6 p.m. Eastern time. I'll keep you guys updated. Wednesday, this week's Best MMA Bets. Thursday, the Late Night Live, which, you know, we break the card down live and I chat it up with my people. Friday, the weigh-in recap show as always. And then Saturday, we got a fight companion. Amazing UFC Sao Paulo fight week. I cannot wait to have the fights back. So tune into that fight companion, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Saturday. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Let me know what you thought of the picks in the comments. Did you like the pick flip in the first one from the early lean to the Diakiese side? I want to hear your thoughts. Much love, my people. And if you have nothing to say in the comments too, drop a W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.